Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Ultra League. The Ultra League is back and we have a very interesting Pokemon. We're going to have my shiny Seismitoad. And Seismitoad is honestly such an interesting pick here because it got buffed so significantly that this Pokemon is fantastic. Honestly, I did try a very similar team, which you maybe see some gameplay eventually as well on this channel, in the Open Great League, and it was actually really fun. I had great success, especially like in terms of how much I won with the team. And so I thought, can I just try to use a similar team for the Open Ultra League? And here we are. And we used some XL candies, for example, in order to build this Seismitoad. Seismitoad is such a fantastic pick right now because you have now a Pokemon that does actually quite a bit of a different thing compared to the other Mud Boys, and especially for the Open Ultra League, it's quite significant. Why? Because the other Mud Boys are a lot of times not actually even really that great, especially like Quagsire just doesn't get to the CP level that you need to get to, while Seismitoad has perfect bulk, perfect CP there, and just is generally even getting extra bulk with the new move Icy Wind on this Pokemon. Then it got buffed with the Earth Power, which gets to now faster. And look at this, we are having 1 HP. I rather going to let this move go through. Apparently Belly Bolt wins CP tie against us, which kind of showcases again though as well on how bulky we actually are. Here though, we're going to have in the back here a not so bulky Pokemon in the Swampert. Swampert I'm not too happy with, not generally because it did bad, no, don't get me wrong, Swampert was actually doing really well. It doesn't fit on what I want to achieve with the team. So like, what do I mean with that? I think the ideal Pokemon would be maybe, just maybe, I'm not saying that it would be actually the ideal Pokemon, Gaston, just because you have a little bit more bulk on this Pokemon. But I actually would like to have a Pokemon in the back that is kind of benefiting from the Toucannon in the lead, while still maintaining the option to hit Flying and Dragon type Pokemon for super effective, or at least neutral. Like, yeah, someone would have access to the move Sludge, which would be an alternative option, but I don't, like, it didn't really hurt me that often, or I think it hurt me like once or something. But just generally speaking, I don't really enjoy having a like Swampert in the back here just because you don't have the coverage that I enjoy on Pokemon like, yeah, the Closers here, for example. Especially with the lead that we have. Yes, we're trying to bait out those Dragon type Pokemon with our Seismitoad, which works out quite often quite well. But it doesn't work out all the time. And if we then have something like a Dragonite or whatever against our Swampert in the back, then it's going to be a bit difficult. But yeah, that's a very specific use case, so like it's not going to be the case all the time either. Like I'm fully aware of that. Generally speaking, this team was fantastic. This team worked out really well. I went way positive with this team as well in the Ultra League. Toucannon, by the way, I haven't even talked about this Pokemon yet, and this Pokemon is destroying left, right, and center every opponent here. It was so much fun to play this Pokemon because there's next to nothing that can currently take hit that's a flying type damage in the current meta. And if they take the hit, it's usually going to be a steel type Pokemon, which our backline completely demolishes. So it's a really good team. It's honestly such a good team. Like having the ground flying type combination together, which is not something that you haven't seen prior. It's such a good pick though. Like it's so strong. And here I decided to shield up the first move. That was actually kind of silly. I should have stopped on one fast move earlier because I know that the dual pick is 5 for the first and 4 for the second, which means that they're gonna be able to CMP tie us now from now on. If I went out one earlier, I would have got the Ice Wind off before they would have got to the move here, which could have definitely been kind of game changing even in certain ways, because I would have had more health on my Seismitoad here, and generally speaking would have been able to survive now as well, still another hit from them. But anyway, and we're going to stop out into our Toucannon, maybe a little bit late here as well. Feraligatr has still the option to maybe shield, but I actually gonna go for the Beak Blast right away because I expect them to no shield. They do shield, but even with this, I'm still gonna be able to reach another charge move, and I was hoping I would still survive another charge move now with a debuff onto them. But they're going to overfarm quite a bit. They are at -1, of course. But the Hydro Cannon is actually not going to be enough, and we can farm them down. So we're going to be able to align ourselves, which is fantastic. And in comes here the Zapdos. And I tried to catch, and here, for example, I would have been able to survive the hit if I just swapped out one fast move earlier with a Toucannon earlier. So that was a bit of a mistake, definitely. And this might be actually quite impactful here, depending on what they have in the back, because we don't know what they have in the back yet. I'm just gonna get rid of the Zapdos because this thing just gets too fast, 2 moves. And so we're gonna knock this Pokemon out, but in the back is going to be a Galarian Weezing. I can go straight for the Hydro Cannon. I think we're going to be grand. Why? Because we still have that drill pack stored, or like we are one away of the drill pack, and we just kind of snipe the opponent here with our Toucannon, knocking them out. Toucannon does so much damage, and we can move on to the next opponent. Where we run into the issue that I just kind of already talked a little bit about as well earlier, talking a little bit about it now as well. If you have opponents with high damage fast move pressure, which is not that common in the Ultra League, honestly, it's not that common in the Ultra League at all, you're going to run into problems with Pokemon that are double shadow. Like, this is just the thing. Like, we don't have a resistance, for example, against confusion here. And I would have rather had something in the back that would be a little bit better with that. What Pokemon could this be? It could be maybe even an Empoleon instead of the Swampert, which would be actually a very interesting shout now where I'm thinking about this. That would make quite a... okay, you have the electric type weakness though with the Elite as well still, so maybe not ideal. I know what it could be in the back. But just generally speaking, it's where I just feel like Swampert just doesn't work out as well as I want it to work out. I just want this Pokemon to be able to, do something more. Like, just not be just the damage dealer here. I just want this Pokemon to maybe go ahead and have better coverage, have a bit more bulk, but there's no real good alternative that I was able to think of for this team other than Swampert. Of course, we have an ABB style line, if you don't know what ABB is at this point, just having two very similar types in the back, but you try to have a Seismitoad that baits out the weaknesses of your closer. The closer, Swampert, only has one weakness, which is grass type Pokemon. Seismitoad still has access to Icy Wind in order to hit those for super effective damage. That's like a classic ABB style line. I still could have actually had a chance of winning this battle if I went for the Hydrocan here earlier and knocked out the Mewtwo, but then it still would have been a race with the Gastort. I'm not too sure if I would have won this race. So good game to the opponent. I could have still played this battle a tiny bit better, but it is what it is. Let's take a look here though at the next opponent where we're going to see a little bit of an awkward matchup, which is going to be the normal Feraligatr. Why is normal Feraligatr so awkward is because it doesn't go down with packs. It just doesn't go down with the packs, you have to go for another charge move. If it was Shadow, that's a completely different story. Shadow Feraligatr is such a better matchup for us compared to this one. And I make another big mistake here. I go into my Seismitoad against the Typhlosion. I should have never done that. That makes no sense. I get a little bit lucky here getting the debuff onto them, and I can debuff them again as well. Why doesn't it not make sense to go into the Seismitoad there? Because Seismitoad is my harder answer. Seismitoad is going to have the bulk in order to withstand those hits from the Typhlosion like it's nothing. But the issue is now, of course, like we have the Swampert now, our Seismitoad is going to be gone now. We need something to soak up the damage, and we don't really have anything to soak up the damage. And so I sub out now to my Swampert. It's going to be a non-shadow Typhlosion, which is okay, I guess. I have good pacing here with my Pokemon, which is great. Like, this Hydrocan comes at the perfect time, and they're forced to go straight for the move, allowing me to get a free fast one, which is fine. In comes Blast One. So, right shield for me. In comes, I think, another Blast One, because they bought 100 energy. They had to go straight for the first one. For the second one, they didn't really. But as you can see here as well, we still survive it, and I know that they're going to get to a Thunder Punch in 2, so I'm forced to swap, and I think this will work out no matter what, because I got the Blastman damage, the Incinerate damage on my Swampert. I should have most likely been able to still get to a Drill Pack here as well, like this, but like this, the opponent just decides to forfeit, basically force crit the app here, and now I can just farm them down and win the battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. Oh, by the way, we're still not at the ELO rankings. I am doing more battles than I thought actually at this point, so like I actually really enjoyed the season so far. And I'm a really good rinse streak, by the way, as well, before like someone's like, oh my god, you're playing against like noobs or anything like this. I don't, I'm in a really good rinse streak right now as well. I have currently 96 wins out of 140, which is, I think, I don't know, like around 70% or something like this. Close to that at least, in terms of my win ratio so far. Okay, maybe I can... Yeah, wait. I'm calculating right now, sorry. It's actually around 69%, so that's literally where I was anyway. So I can't calculate in my head, fantastic. In terms of my win rate, and I've been playing also some very silly things, which I haven't been able to showcase for the Great League yet as well. I have some very cool gameplay that's still for the Great League to showcase to you, which I kind of want to showcase as well with the Pokemon that maybe you haven't seen yet as well on YouTube. I actually haven't checked YouTube in like a couple of months on what other players are doing. I just do my own stuff, and again, by the way, sorry for like not being able to upload for a week or whatever. It's going to be hopefully be able to be a bit more consistent eventually again. But yeah, life is busy. It is what it is. I have now a full-time job, and this is just fun on the side, but I enjoy it. And I'm happy that I have still the opportunity to keep this channel up a little bit, because I enjoy what I'm doing, and based on the reviews of my last videos, you still enjoy it as well, and I'm very thankful for that. So again, thanks so much for the opportunity that I have here, being able to still do what I want to do, and also being able to still do casting and stuff like this. I'm really, really grateful for this. It's amazing to have those options. Here the opponent's always 1 HP, that's not that amazing, but there's actually a very amazing end game here. Let's take a look here and let's analyze it real quick. We're going to have here a very awkward position. We have the Tapu Fini, which gets a lot of energy, knocking us out. So, do we risk it and let the Licky have maybe still a body slam, which won't knock us out here? Or do we risk it and let the Tapu Fini go for all the water guns to maybe knock us out? I risked it for the water guns, and I think it was the right decision, because it looks like there's no rollout coming through. So it's a CMP tie here, and our Toucannon will win this with a 1 HP. Alright, Guzzled in the lead is okay. It's not that great though, and I don't want to play this out directly. And here you see me swap. Why do I swap? Because I have a better charge move here on the Seismitoad. You might think, why do you go into your harder answer? Because this is an A-B-B style line, and against Guzzled I have played at least with all 3 of my Pokemon, and you kinda, if you have an A-B-B style line, want to keep your lead alive, because you need your lead alive in order to deal with the opponent's Pokemon. And as you're gonna see here, I'm gonna try to keep the Icy Winds for the Guzzled for later on, and have 2 Icy Winds stored now on my Seismitoad. As a Drill Peck gonna get the shield from the opponent, I'm going to be able to, I could shield up this move, but I can still take a Surf as well. It's not that devastating, like, yeah, it's gonna get slow, but I can still even reach another Drill Peck here in time. And now the opponent is going to be in Icy Wind range after this one for sure. I'm not too sure if I want CMP tie. I do, or maybe it's just a Dragon Tail coming through, I don't know. But the Ice Wind comes through now, gonna get the shield. It was a CMP tie, so I win the CMP tie against them. I still should be able to survive a Dragon Claw here, thanks to the debuff onto them. And this is where Seismitoad just showcases on why this thing is so strong. We can knock them out here. And now it's all down though to Swampert. And in the bag is going to be a Ninetales. And I misplay this one. Why do I misplay this one? I don't know why I do this, but I did. And we see it here right now. I'm gonna go for the Earthquake. And I panic a little bit. I didn't really count on how many fast moves the Ninetales has. I think it was just 4. So I should be able to still reach another Earthquake here in time. But I go for the Hydro Cannon, panicking, hoping that this would be enough. And I didn't want to risk it, and that was not the right play. But I can still catch the move, and so Seismitoad with 1 HP takes a Weather Ball, which allows us now to guarantee winners the battle as the Hydro Cannon comes through, and that's going to be it for this one. Yeah, I should have went for Earthquake. I think I would have been able to go for the Earthquake there, but I just panicked a little bit. Which, to be fair, is grand. In comes. Here though now the next opponent. We're going to have the Florges against us. Florges is a Pokemon that I like to Drill Peck against, and this is going to be where I'm gonna stay in this lead. Why? Because Florges would have, in theory, the opportunity to go for the Trailblaze. Based on their move choice right now, I assume they don't run Trailblaze. I assume they're running Chilling Water Moonblast, which is fine. And so at least I'm going to still be grand here in this scenario. And here I'm going to try to catch the Fire-type move, which doesn't work out. So Seismitoad has to take now the Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball does a little bit more damage than I expected, and so I'm just gonna go for the Icy Wind damage now. I kinda not playing this perfect here. I should have mostly tried to pressure them earlier already with the Toucannon and went for a charge move there. So either I get damage onto them, or I would have been able to get some shields off them early. And now I'm in a really awkward spot. But in comes now the Cobalion. I'm gonna go up all the way, go for the Hydro Cannon. And if they shield this, I know what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna go for the big Earthquake. Sit back, relax, enjoy. Boom, and knocking out that Cobalion there. And in comes the Skeldurge. And I still think I would be kind of fine here taking a hit. Shadow Ball's coming through though. And I can go for now the Hydro Cannon. And now I have a charge move start on the other Pokemon here. And I know I'm gonna win this battle even if I don't go for any bubbles. And I win the battle. And we can move on to the final one for the day. Starting off with a fantastic lead. In comes the Lapras. Okay, not too bad. We haven't really seen too much of Beak Blast today. So why not go for it? Why not go for it? Indeed, we're gonna get them insanely low now with a one charge move. One of the bulkiest Pokemon here for the current Open Ultra League is going to be Lapras, and it didn't really look like it, did it? We're going to have here now the the Spiking Arrow coming through, and thanks to the debuff on it as well, it doesn't do that much damage. I can get all the way up to 99 energy, but the opponent makes a reverse catch here onto the Virizion. But I have Icy Wind, and again, this is why Seismitoad is so unique and so good as a Mud Boy, is because you have the ice type coverage, which the other Mud Boys are lacking. And so, in comes, you know, the Sacred Sword. I don't even have to shield it here with my Toucannon. I'm in a good position. I knocked out one Pokemon already, I got one super low, and in comes, let's see, the Pokemon that was super low, which is the Lapras. I can just go ahead and go for a charge move, and they decide to shield. And this is something that tells me that they're going to be something in the bag. It's going to be quite a bit weak to my Toucannon. And this is definitely the right call, because in the bag is going to be the Feraligatr, and if you listen to me a little bit earlier in the video, you know that the Shadow Feraligatr matchup is so much better for the Toucannon compared to the normal Feraligatr, because now a Drill Peck is going to be enough to knock them out here with a little bit of fast move damage, and so as Drill Peck comes through, it's going to charge, it's going to destroy, and this is going to be it here for the final battle. I didn't even showcase my Swampert in a 1v3 Pokemon, so this team was fantastic. Hope you enjoyed it, and build your Seismitoad, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.